One thing that stops people from creating what they truly want is fear. That's what it is. Fear is what blocks manifestation. And interestingly enough, though, fear doesn't actually block manifestation. Living into fear is in of itself a manifestation, but we'll get into that more once we get into the video. But what I want you to understand is that fear is taking away your power. Fear is blocking you from living into the vision that you want. Because when you're living into fear, you're living into not your own vision, but the vision that somebody else wants for you. And that's a problem. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to let go of all fear and step into your true power once again. Not to believe in the fear, to understand that you can shift and direct your energies in the direction that you want, not the direction that you're taking, because not to put your life energies and shift them in the direction because you're scared of something else happening. Or I don't know if I said that right. Like most people, they take action in a certain direction because they're afraid of something else happening. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this to make sure that this doesn't happen. And what does that do? You're not in your power. So this is gonna be how to let go of all fear and step into your true power. If you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Number one, what I want you to understand is that fear manifests fear. Okay, fear manifests fear. This is a topic that was really hard for me to take in. Now, the interesting thing is that it's not hard to take it in because the harder thing to do is actually to believe in the fear. The easier thing to do is to stop believing in the fear. But the fear that we live into has such a strong emotional pull. It's so deceptive. It's like we believe we have to live into it. But the paradox is that the more that we believe in it, the more that it manifests. Fear literally manifests fear. I want people to understand how much I really mean it when I say that you are literally the creator of your reality. I can see people manifesting their own fears into existence. When I noticed this within myself was the greatest transformation, but sometimes it can be hard even to see people manifest their own fears. Because I'll give you an example. Let's say you're in a space of fear, okay? And you take action on something to make sure that that thing doesn't happen. It's like, oh, I'm really scared of this person breaking up with me in a relationship, so I'm gonna do all this stuff to make sure that this doesn't happen, right? Because I'm so scared of losing this relationship because I need this one person in my life or else I'm not gonna be complete. And then they take all this action to make sure that it doesn't happen. Well, then guess what? They usually manifest those types of people. Not to judge anybody. I've done this in the past before. When you're scared of losing something, you lose it because you live into that fear. And then when it manifests, you say, you see, I told you it was going to happen. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. No, it happened because you lived into the fear and you believed into it. And even when I say that, it still doesn't hit home for some people because they're so lost in that reality that it seems so real. And it is real. It exists. But because you chose to believe in it. But you chose to believe in an idea that really doesn't exist. And what do I mean? Fear, the ultimate fear that we have is fear of death. But it's a fear of nothingness, nothing existing. But everything exists. So you're creating this idea that doesn't actually exist, which really what you're doing is you're focusing on what you don't want. That's all that's happening. So when you have a thought coming up of something you don't want, you literally have two choices: to feed that more energy or to say, you know what? I don't want that reality. I accept that that thought exists. I don't resist that thought, that this thought has a right to exist. This thought has a right to be in my field of consciousness, because if I say that it shouldn't be here, well, then I'm going to amplify more of it, because what you resist persists. We'll talk about that later. But it has a right to exist. So I'm kind of going all over the place here, but the thing I want you to take in is that fear manifests fear. There's literally no circumstance where you should believe in fear. If there's any unwanted realities that are coming in your field of consciousness in terms of what you're thinking, there's no reason you should feed that energy. You should shift your energy to what you prefer. whether that is to experience the present moment fully, whether that's to shift your thinking to what you prefer to think about instead, more love, more gratitude, more appreciation of what you prefer to see instead, from that space of non-resistance. Listen, there's no rules in the universe. You can do whatever you want. But if you focus on the fear, you will manifest it. It's plain and simple. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm not here to control you. I'm here to be a messenger and to tell you what the truth of existence is and how to create your reality. And the truth is that if you believe in fear, you will manifest it. It's just simple as that. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to subscribe to what I'm saying, but I'm telling you what the truth is. And the truth is that if you believe in fear, you are going to manifest it. Fear feeds off of fear. If you're scared of something happening and you take action to make sure it doesn't happen, you're increasing the probability of that manifesting. Now, I'm not saying to not be logical. I'm not saying to not make sure that you take care of your survival, because you can also believe that you have to live into something that's fearless when you don't want to do that. It's about honoring your belief systems in this moment, what you truly want, and doing that fearlessly because you want to, not because you have to. I'm not telling you to, it's like Francis saying, oh my gosh, so now I need to go be fearless, but now I'm still in fear. That's still a fear-based decision, because now you're saying, oh, I need to listen to Francis to make sure that this doesn't happen, and you're still doing what I said. You're still doing that thing where you're living into fear. Because now Francis said something and I have to do what he said, and I don't really want to do it, but I feel like I have to do it, because if I don't do it, then I'm going to be in fear, because he said that fear manifests fear. That's still fear-based. What you need to do is honor what you really want and keep giving that energy from that space of non-resistance. But we'll get to that right now. Number one, fear manifests fear. Never believe in fear. If you have a fear-based thought, ask yourself this question: do I have to believe in this fear? Do I have to believe in this fear? Ask yourself that question every single day. Do I have to believe in this fear? Ask yourself that question every single day, because you'll stop creating what you don't want. You'll separate yourself from the fear. The fear is not you. It's something you attach to believing it's you. Fear is not you. It's something appearing to be you, but it's not you. It's a delusion. It's not real. It's not reality. Fear is not real. Real is what is. Everything exists. Fear does not exist. But if you believe in fear, you manifest the reality of something you don't want, predicated upon the idea that something exists that doesn't. But then it exists for you because you believed in that thought. I know it's confusing, but the truth is that reality is a paradox. But the simple truth that I want you to take in is fear manifests fear. Now, number two, energy flows where attention goes. Okay, energy flows where attention goes. Whatever you put your energy into, it will amplify. It's just as simple as that. Whatever you give energy to, it will amplify. I'm going to say it one more time. Whatever you give your energy to, it will amplify. If you give your energy to the actuality of what is, you get more of what is. If you give your energy to who you want to become, you get energy. You're giving that energy. If you're grateful for something, you're going to get more of that. If you're scared of something happening and then you take action from that space of resisting that thing happening and saying that this shouldn't happen, you're unconsciously going to be feeding that energy, and then energy is actually flowing in the direction that you don't want. Yes, it's happening unconsciously, but also you're still choosing to actually give that reality energy. Maybe not consciously or deliberately, but there's still a choice. There's still a choice there. You're still choosing to do it. Maybe not as consciously as you would like, but you're choosing. Everything is a choice. Everything in life is intention. Everything is a choice. So what you got to realize is that you need to be conscious of where you're flowing your energy. What are you giving energy to? Who are you giving energy to? What are you watching? I haven't watched the news in probably 2 years. I don't really care what's on the news because it doesn't serve what I want to create. If I needed to know something, I would find out. You'd be surprised how I stopped giving energy to certain things, and then by the time I'm in a new timeline, that old thing just never existed. It's almost as if it didn't exist, and it doesn't exist in my reality because I create my reality. This is how reality works. This is the truth of existence, guys. This is how this actually works. You got to understand that if you're giving energy to fear, you're going to manifest that. Now, I want to go deeper into the point of the fact that fear doesn't exist, because some people get confused about this. It exists for you. Everything exists, okay? The reality that you're scared of happening exists. But why are you afraid of that thing happening? Why are we afraid of something happening that we don't want? It all comes down to the fear of death, to the fear of not existing. It's like, oh, but if I do this thing, I might not have enough money, and then I'm not going to be able to manifest this thing, and then my partner's going to break up with me, and I'm going to lose my job, and I'm going to lose this. But what is that all? What are all these? What is the core of these fears? What is the core of this fear? This thing that's not allowing you to create what you actually want. You're listening to other people, living into their reality, doing what they want for you, and they don't live, and they're not creating their reality either. So they're living into fear, you're living into fear because you're believing in somebody that's also living into fear. Cluster of blind people, the blind leading the blind. Okay? Now, what's the core of this? It's the fear of death. Now, what is the fear of death? The fear of death is fearing something that doesn't exist. I'm going to share that one more time. You're fearing something that doesn't exist. Why? Because death is not real. Everything in reality exists. And when you take action from a place of something that you're scared of happening that doesn't exist, once you realize that, you're seeing that really what's happening is that you're just giving energy to what you don't want. That's all that's happening. That's all that's happening because everything exists. But you're saying, okay, so doesn't nothingness exist? That thing I'm scared of? No, it exists as an idea in your mind, but the truth is that what you're scared of doesn't actually exist. And then that starts manifesting things that do exist that you don't want because you're acting from a place of fear. Does that make sense? So we take action from a place of doing things we don't want, and then we manifest that reality because we're scared of dying at the core, the fear of death. But what if I told you something radical, that death doesn't exist, and that only life exists? And life and the universe is here to help you and push you continually, love you, not in a forceful way, but continually nudge you in the direction of more life, more of what you want, more manifestations, anything from the physical level to the spiritual level to the emotional level to the romantic level. Anything you want exists. Anything you want already exists. You just have to be open to receive it and open enough to believe that you can manifest it. What you want already exists, okay? So just keep that in mind, that the thing that you're scared of does not exist. It does not exist. Now, the fear that you're generating around what might happen if that death was to so-called happen, that exists, and you can choose to focus on that if you want. But do you want to focus on that? Do you want to be feeding into a reality that you don't want, that's predicated upon the idea of lack, which does not exist? Lack does not exist. Something not existing does not exist. The idea of lack exists, but lack doesn't exist. Lack never existed and never will exist. Do you want to live your life predicated upon the idea that something doesn't exist, which is not a true statement? Not a wise place to live from, is it? Number 3, what you resist persists. Okay, so energy flows where attention goes was number 2. That's very critical. Number 3 is what you resist persists. Okay? What you resist persists. Just plain simple. If you're in resistance to something, you're saying that this shouldn't be happening to me, you're creating that reality. You're actually, excuse me, manifesting that reality into existence. Excuse me there. You're manifesting something that you do not want simply because you are you're resisting that thing, and then you're persisting it. So not only does energy flow where attention goes, but what you resist persists. And when you're resisting something, you're actually giving it energy. So yes, energy flows where attention goes. But let's say you're experiencing something in your life and you're in resistance to that experience, you're fighting the experience, you're saying this shouldn't be happening, you're actually unconsciously feeding that situation energy simply because you are resisting it. You're saying that this shouldn't be happening. You're calling it a dysfunctional situation. You're calling it something that you don't want to call it. I'm not saying the mind is bad. I'm saying, are you resisting it and saying that it shouldn't be happening? The mind is a powerful tool, but are you using the mind or is the mind using you? Everything is a tool. Are you in harmony with life, Or are you in harmony with the idea of death, which doesn't exist? So understand that you don't want to resist anything in life. Don't resist anything. Because if you resist it, it will only amplify. It will only amplify. What you say shouldn't be happening, you will only give that more energy. So the key that I found in my experience is to, from a space of non-resistance and complete acceptance of the isness of all that is, only focus on what I want. It's just very simple. This is the secret right here. This is the secret to life. This video has the potential to completely revolutionize your whole life. This video has the potential to change the direction of your life forever. And I truly mean that. And I'm going to say to you one more time the secret that I found. From a space of non-resistance, only focus on what you want. It's just that simple. If you fully embody that, it's simple, but it's not always easy to embody. But I want you to sit with this for the next couple of weeks, to really sit with what I'm communicating here. Because if you really allow yourself to experience everything you're experiencing, and then from that space of non-resistance, you focus on only what you want, you'll realize that you are the creator, and that you can manifest exactly what you want, and that you can create the dream life that you want, plus even more. Plus even more. Not only can you manifest exactly what you want, you can get exactly what you want at the physical level, at the romantic level, at whatever level you want. It doesn't matter. All levels that exist simultaneously, you choose whatever level you want, you can manifest that, plus even more. And if you embody these three things, I do strongly believe that your life will change forever. So I encourage you to sit with this video. This video is powerful. I encourage you to sit with what was said in this video and to use this to propel you into what you really want to create. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Now, also, please hit that like button so more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet deserves to know that they are the creators of their reality, and that they can do so and manifest their reality in the most effortless and easeful way possible. Hitting that like button does help the algorithm grow. Also, comments help too if you want. And it does truly help the algorithm grow. So I would greatly appreciate that. You don't have to leave a like, you don't have to leave a comment, but I would appreciate it if you did, if you want to. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next